Hey Crossing family, Pastor Heidi here. Oh, the month of May, the month of change, the month of transitions, the month of endings, the month of beginnings. The month of May can feel so overwhelming as parents because of all the end of the school year tests, events, celebrations, sports championships, the end of communities because of changes in schools, the beginnings of summer sports and commitments, and even the dramatic changes in family schedules as school ends. As parents, we try to continue to live out the facade that we're on top of things, that we have our calendar act together, and that we are managing all the change. But let's be honest, it's a challenge every year. So today, I want to encourage you to keep two realities at the forefront of your parenting. First and foremost, it matters more than any other time that you stay present with your kids as they go through these changes. And secondly, that you remind yourself that there will be things that you cannot control. If you find yourself saying to yourself or to others that you are a control freak, I want to encourage you to give things over to God and become a recovering control freak. So, first let's talk about staying present in all the transitions of May. If you use the Parent Cue app, you know there is a huge emphasis on making the most of every week with each of your kids by staying present with them. The Parent Cue app goes right along with your child's specific age and phase and resources you with the tools to build on the biblical truths that your kids learned at their services at the Crossing. It gives you questions for conversations and moments where you can be fully present with your kids. Sometimes in months like May, the pressures of the immediate needs and decisions to make in the next 24 hours can distract us from remembering to live in the moments with our kids. One of my favorite quotes is, "The days are long, but the years are short." And you're never more aware of this than at those transitional moments, like when your infant suddenly is now trotting off to kindergarten, your toddler is now needing new clothes for a middle school dance, or your elementary child is now taking their driver's test. May is one of those transitional seasons. And one thing that helped me when we were in our seasons of transition and change was to set an alarm on my phone 3 times a day. Now, when the alarm goes off, take a moment to reflect on the moment and season that each of your kids are in. Put yourself in their shoes. Consider their thoughts, struggles, and excitement, and then choose to be in those moments with them. Moments where you are listening, understanding, encouraging, and letting them work out their emotions and feelings on their own. This is what it means to be present for them, and they need it most in months like May. Second, realize and surrender to the fact that you cannot control everything in your child's life. And in fact, if you were to do that, you would cheat them out of significant learning experiences. Our kids need to go through challenges and emotions and discover the best ways to navigate them on their own. We have to let our kids experience fear, anxiety, disappointment, excitement, thankfulness, and weariness without us rescuing them or commanding them to feel a certain way. We need to guide our kids to be able to communicate their truths, live out their truths, and let them fail and have real consequences when they don't quite get things right. It's one of the most challenging concepts of parenting, letting go of our kids. Sure, we want to make every effort to guide, support, teach, and give good discipline, but we can't live their lives for them. We can't control everything. We can't control how they behave when we're not around. We can't control who they play with on the playground, which sports they will love, how hard they want to study in school. We can't control what they eat every minute of every day, what they talk about when we're not around, or how others will treat them, what they'll watch on TV or on their phone when we're not around. We can't control the growth of their faith. We want to control it all, but we can't. We have to teach them what God would want them to do and then let them learn to do it. Friends, we're not doing our kids any favors by protecting them from anything and everything that could give them an unpleasant experience. So in these crazy transition months like May, encourage them to stick to their good habits and values, but when they choose not to, let them fail and let them learn. Transition months like May are amazing training grounds for your kids to learn what it is in the busy, distracting, exciting, disappointing seasons where we all have to stay closer to God and closer to God's Word. That's true whether you're 10 or 100 years old, and your kids will grow into adulthood wiser and better the earlier that they learn this personally. It's one thing for you to say it in a lecture to them, and quite another when they have to experience a disappointment and choose to go to God themselves as they walk through the situation. Proverbs 3:5-6 tells us to trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. Parenting is a constant process of training your kids in God's truths, trusting God to create moments where that training can become their own authentic truth, and then releasing the outcome, even though our understanding wants to control things. One practical thing you can do in the busy seasons is to decide to recognize an area where you find yourself continually rescuing or protecting your child from an unpleasantness. Maybe you are doing their homework for them because you don't want them to struggle or fail. Maybe you are constantly having to make extra trips to school or practices with equipment, uniforms, or food because they continually forget to be responsible to pack what they need. Even if you don't want them to sit the bench because they don't have the right shoes or their parent form signed, they need to experience these small failures in life to learn how to handle them. Identify some areas where you know you need to release some control of a situation and let your kids work through the consequences. Pray and choose to surrender the areas you identify and watch and see just how much your kids will learn and discover about life, especially in the moments that you trust God and allow your kids to be uncomfortable. Train, trust God, release them to experience life. Parenting is hard, and we get it. We understand. We're here for you, especially in these transitional months where you need a little more encouragement and support. We have a strategy to help your kids grow spiritually, and we want to partner with you, and we want to pray for you. Please let us know what you need, and thanks for listening to this month's tip from your Next Gen team and ParentCue.